Thank you. Those old movies always bring back goose pimples and aches. Rolly, thanks for that introduction. I think. It's nice to know I'm in someone's library somewhere. You're probably asking yourself why an ex-jock from the NFL, a particularly brutal jock that was affiliated with a team that went undefeated, is here in front of you. Well, hell, I don't know. They called me up and said, "How do you feel about speaking in front of the hair industry?" I went, "Hell yeah, why not?" You know. Then the guy that called me said, "Do you still have any hair?" I said, "Unfortunately, I've got more than ever. It's just all over my body now." But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter whether you're talking to industry that builds cars, that makes tablecloths, or chainsaws. The basic philosophies of winning at team sports is very similar. Almost exactly the same that you find in the world of business. And we'll get into that a little bit. And we'll talk about the 72 Dolphins and how we came from nowhere and ended up somewhere. A lot of setbacks in between. Before we get into all that, I'd like to tell you a little about myself. Give you a little background on me. For 13 or 14 years, I plied my trade in the world of professional football. They paid me huge sums of money, gave me pretty uniforms to run around in, and tremendous prestige. God, I like going to work. I don't know how many of you in this room like to do what you do. But if you do, you're less than 7% of the workforce in this nation. If you get up in the morning and put the key in the car and go to work and you're whistling and feeling good about it, you're less than 7% of the workforce. You're a very lucky person. And there I was, getting paid huge sums of money, running around carrying a football. When I'd go into nightclubs and bars, people would come up, shake my hand, buy me drinks. Beautiful women wanted my autograph. Life was good. I like that. Hell, who wouldn't? And then it was over. At the ripe old age of 34, suddenly it was over. Coach Schuler said, "Zonk, you haven't noticed you're getting old. Your belly button is getting into the middle of your chest." It's time for you to retire. And I found myself sitting on the porch in a chair thinking, how could this be over? I liked so much what I was doing. I thought I'll never find another job ever like this one. And the phone rang. I answered the phone. They said, "This is the Miller Brewing Company. We would like to pay you to come and drink beer and have a good time." To endorse our product, thank you. True. To endorse our product, the only drawback is that you're going to have to travel around with Bob Uecker and John Madden. And if you think you have a timing problem with some of the speakers up here, you ain't seen nothing yet. Uecker and Madden, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And for 4 years, they paid me huge sums of money to travel around the nation, drink beer, and have a good time. Damn, what a great job. God likes me. And then Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, and rightfully so, decided that ex-athletes promoting alcoholic beverages might be bad for our youth. And if that's true, even in one case, then it shouldn't be done. And it was over. And back on the porch. The phone rings. Pick it up. No way they're going to top it. He said, "Hello, is this Larry?" I said, "Yes, who's this?" They said, "The American Gladiators." How many of you have ever seen the American Gladiators show? They said, "Are you familiar with that?" I said, "No." They said, "We're a cable TV program predicated on the fact of having a lot of big, beautiful, very large, muscular people beat the hell out of a lot of little people. And we have a credibility gap for some reason. And we'd like you to come and hang around and give us credibility." I said, "Okay." I got out there and got to dress in this dressing room with all these big, beautiful people. It's a lot of fun, particularly in the women's end of it. It was a little demoralizing for me. My ego suffered a little. I've never had many beautiful women around me that could whip me. And suddenly they got credibility. That was over. And I thought, well, I'll never get a better job than what I've had. Phone rang. So this is Suzuki Great Outdoors. We would like to pay you to hunt and fish. Now, I spent 4 years at the University of Syracuse, going to class at 8 o'clock in the morning, fighting the weather, the snow, the elements, to get an education that I could fall back on and become a writer. If I'd had any idea how lucky I was, I'd have never gone to class ever. Haven't used it one time. Life is good. But I was away from the NFL for some 10 years before I went back. And they called me a few years ago, 4 years ago exact, and said, we'd like to bring all the old jocks back and have you on the sidelines, all the old MVPs from past Super Bowls. We'd like you there to see what it's like again and have people appreciate you. Nice way of saying the game's a little boring. We'd like all you old farts to come and kind of carry the thing a little bit. I went down, was on the sideline, and I thought it's the same. The game's never going to change. It's going to be the same. And I was standing there, and the Dallas Cowboys were out running around on the field. And then right before they played the national anthem, the Cowboys came over. That's when I realized the difference in the NFL. These guys are huge. Damn, they're big. When I played football in the NFL, a fellow that was in it over 6'6", over 300 pounds was a rarity. Today, it is commonplace. The offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys came over and stood beside me and blocked out the sun. These guys are 6'7", 6'8". They weigh 340, 350, 370 pounds. There's a fellow standing there, Nate Newton, has a butt that wide. This man loses more weight in the pregame warm-up than I did an entire season. And it dawned on me why I retired. I was 6'4", 245 pounds, ran a 4.740. I thought that was fast. I asked Nate, what do you run the 40 in? He said 4.8. Difference between 4.7 and 4.8, about that far. This man's arms are this long. He would catch me, and he would hurt me. My God, he could eat me if he wanted.